in mind to offer this network call because we were struggling a bit to write our own activity report for this year, 2020. So we have some suggestions based on the report that we wrote and that proved to be okay because our members or financiers approved it. So we will share the voice. I will present the first part with what kind of repercussions the COVID had on our organization or yours maybe. The second part will be really about content, how to write a report for this year. And the third part would be more about the form, knowing that form is always content and vice versa. Okay, so this 2020 was a lot about activities cancelled, postponed, adapted. For some of us, it also had impact on finances. For most of us, it became really difficult to stay in touch with the young people we work with. For us to stay in touch with our member organizations was really more challenging this year, for sure. We saw also a shift in priorities. There was a change in focus. There was a lot about health issues and not so much about social issues. The social consequences are coming now, actually, 1 year after. And yeah, the members, the partners were dealing with different realities. So again, changing priorities. The first tip I would give is really to remember to whom you have to report the year that has passed. So it might be the beneficiaries and target group of your organization. It might be just for your team, colleagues, volunteers. It might be for the partners. But for sure, you have to report to institutions and financial supporters. And the question is, what should be reported? The first priority after such a year is really to reassure your beneficiaries, your supporters, your partners that you still exist. It may sound simple, but a lot of organizations have closed down or are on pause for the moment. So it's really important to say, hey, we're still here, we still exist. And things have happened during 2020, and there were still projects, and we still have new projects for the coming year as well. So your beneficiaries, your members might also be worried if you still exist. So you have to reassure them and tell them that, yes, we are here, we are still fulfilling our mission, we are still trying to create social links, and we are still working on this territory for this community. You can also say that you are under reflection and that this period is for you the time to think about how to adapt to the situation or how to offer a new service, maybe. So it's fine also to be on pause, but just say that you still exist. And this period of nothing maybe also has changed your relation to your beneficiaries. Not being in the position to provide services, maybe the young people want to leave the organization, or your member organizations want to leave your network, for example, if you're not providing the service. Well, one of the tips is not to enter in this relationship of service. The message to send is really that the organizations belong to the members and that they have to contribute to it, not just consume and take from. So you have to fight this consumerism logic and find more a commitment logic. So you really have to focus on this collective character and solidarity that this crisis moment is really highlighting. You have to adapt to challenges, that's for sure. But it's also a nice moment to find new opportunities and to re-question some of the relation you have with your members, with your beneficiaries. To the funders, donors, financial supporters, you have obligations, especially if you received public grants. This is public money, you have to report it. So one of the first thing to check with your financiers is what are the results that they were expecting when giving you the grant. Is there a way that they maybe lowered their expectations because for sure you couldn't implement the project as it was foreseen at the beginning? So it's fine to negotiate and to say we did this, but not exactly that. But check with them and be in constant relation with them. And the same for your donors, financial supporters. You have to report and value the continuity of the organization and really insist on we are still existing. Despite the context, we're still here. The project was not realized or not 100% realized, but maybe 20%, or we changed completely to another topic or target group, but we did something. The message is really, we didn't give up and we tried to do something. We continued to work with partners. Maybe you have even new partners. It's fine to insist on this. It's also fine to value the time that you spent just on rethinking your activity. It took us time to reorganize things to function in a new health context. So it's really fine to justify that you didn't do the project, but you had to adapt to the situation and to find a protocol for good reasons, like wearing masks, where to find the mask, blah, 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 blah. One thing we did, for example, in News Express Network, because 80% of our European activity stopped during last year, 2020. So we took the time to rebuild the website, for example. We used this time, this empty time was used for something else, as I said. Focus on the positive things that happen, because it's really nice to take out some lessons maybe and to say that we created something new. We used the time to open our strategic directions, or we are now realizing that we have to tackle new topics, that new tools or new competencies are useful. For this, for example, our new thing is this network call, this format that we came with. We had the suggestion to do webinars for quite some years, but we really took the step this year because there was no other way to stay in touch with our members, so we took it. So you see, out of a negative thing, a nice one is coming. So focus on the positive and focus on the future. It's also important to say we exist and we have plans for the future. So focus on projects, future plans, continuity of the action. Even if you report for 2020, it's nice at the end of the report, for example, to say, and 2021 will be for us, blah, 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 this direction, this direction. To project yourself in the near future is also a strong sign that you're not giving up. So for your members, for your beneficiaries, and for the donors, financial supporters, it's nice to show that you still have ideas and a lot of things to do. It's also nice to say that your new activities or your future activities will be COVID compatible, so that you're taking into account the new uncertainty that is coming. So you have future activities, you have even plan B, plan C, you're prepared. It's also nice to say that you have now the tools to do online youth work. If you're equipped, if you know how to do it, then really insist on it, because this is probably the future of youth work. It will stay with us, this online youth work. So it's nice to show that you're already in it and prepared. Taking into account the physical distancing now, but also the new ways of working with young people. So be positive and future oriented. And I think I was really, really quick, but because the most important part and the fun part is coming with Margot after, with the form.